everyone, and welcome back to the A stream. Here is a group that is technically settled. Here is a game that might lock the positions as well. FaZe versus Soniqs. Now, Soniqs, they are locked in last place. There's no changing and no moving their position based on the results that have come through. FaZe, in the meantime, they're currently sitting around in first, but G2, they're within a game's reach. I'm Fluke. How's that?
Still hap, yes, for sure. And there is going to be those 3 points potential for G2 to overtake FaZe. However, if this game ends in a clean-cut victory, that will be out of the question as well, meaning that the last A game might be up for a bit of fun and games here and there. But we still first have the very, very everlast competitive game of Super.
It's a story.
It's a
moment. Put your posts and your memes into chat. We're going to bank. A bold strategy if you're in the historical idea of taking a sort of big Latin American team to bank. It's a good map for them, but in the recent resurgence, I think NA has generally had a good showing on this.
Yeah, G2 tried to take FaZe to bank as well, though. That didn't really work out for them, as it was a 7-3 victory. So it's going to be good to see what the Soniqs think they have to do. They would like to go out with a bang here against FaZe, so let's just get started.
Let's take it to the bank.
Let's take it to the bank.
Let's throw it in and see the deposit. The last one, Super intends to make. The music kicks up. There's best of luck to both teams. As we said, it's not that there is no reason to this game. Obviously, at this point, the positions won't change, which, correct me if I'm wrong, that won't affect the total SI points that Soniqs will be taking potentially away from this.
No, because they cannot get third place, so they won't be able to get any more 6 invitational points. So, with that said, it is all just their honor, their glory, and Super ending his career with a win rather than a loss. That's what's at stake here.
Just letting that stake build.
Yeah, letting it build.
Letting that build. Letting that hold. Nook, the first removal here from the side of FaZe. It's fair play. It's wicked hands in the hands of Soniqs. They've demonstrated pace with it. Lion is that response. Okay, limits some of the control, some of the momentum that they can build up and around at this place. Now, as we've said it a couple times, but it's worth re-mentioning, FaZe, they can lock in first place with this game. G2 wouldn't be able to catch up, which then comes out to seeding. Now, I know that's something that everyone's going to start looking to as things get locked in.
I'm quickly going to be refreshing every single thing here that I have so I can give you the exact numbers that need to happen. Okay, so FaZe currently have 12 points. G2 has 10, which means 2 points, of course, puts them outside of that reach. 3 points would as well, obviously. And a single point would be 3 points ahead. But round differential, of course, will be decisive at that moment in time. And that would mean that if G2 wins, they most likely would be overtaking them at that matter. So, FaZe looking to find at least 2 points here against the Soniqs in their everlast game with Super. We got to keep on mentioning it. It is an icon in the scene that will be retiring.
Yeah. I think that's always the sort of thing. Obviously, people have strong opinions on a player who has strong opinions. It's always going to happen. But love it or hate him, he has had an effect on the grand face of our game. And this could be, or let's say will be, his last. Because although he's going into retirement, he said it himself, you never really know what the future holds.
Do people always truly retire?
Do people always truly retire?
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes they do come back, but it is, for now, a retirement game. So, getting started, Soniqs will be on the attack. Round 1, into the basement we go. The Ossa on the board is good operator to be brought. I'm actually quite a big fan of Ossa and what she can bring, especially with these talent shields and the garage boost that we see more and more often nowadays.
I was going to say, Yeti's just going to drone ahead. Bullets on the far end of the ambulance by the trash bins, ready to swing around and hit them with a heavy DMR rifle that does the business. The pings come through. They know roughly where the player is. They're wondering if he's slipped towards the back and stayed within the garage. Yes, they have the confirmation. And Ossa is just going to tuck the corner and try and dance and dabble them further away. They're trying to get the read. They're protecting the player behind them, taking the fight. But you can see a second FaZe member has actually shown up, and a third. FaZe, I think, now have 4 players already trying to fight this. Bullet gets 1. There's a swing around. There's a take from Rexon, but in the meantime, that leaves the site not entirely unaware, so FaZe, they pull some of those players back because look at this. Very quickly, in and amongst that attention, Grixer and Kansan have got themselves stacked towards the site.
It kind of lets you know the kind of game that FaZe wants to play, though. They don't need to stay to their positions. They don't need to hold as tightly as they normally would. And they can bring in that aggression that they want to bring. Swarm those players in the garage and make sure to at least take out one before you start to fall back. Now, the FaZe members, you saw them just there a second ago, are falling back all into their default positions here as they know that the garage threat isn't really there anymore, at least temporarily. Rexon picks up that shield so he can continue or reverse that push. In the meantime, top floor and the hatches will be opened up by the Soniqs.
Yeah, the start of the breach. We saw obviously the Kaid claw is tucked round onto one, so they won't be able to truly get their way through onto the elevator. So Cyber has a bit of space, a bit of width. I'm not sure if the other one was on the hatch above the site itself or if it was over onto the lobby hatch by the looks of the activation. Yeah, the lobby hatch there. So they keep a big bout of protection on the backside. The thing about Kaid now he gets let through, they force an A push. They force a way towards that site. B becomes really tricky to dig yourself into. You can't really force your way down green without some support. Cyber is holding an angle and then just takes the head off of Grixer as the Oster was rotating a shield round. A drone even.
Yeah, I was just trying to get some information out there. Some legs being shut out as well. Cyber just picking them up one by one. He's looking to find a triple kill. Super now coming down the main stairs. Is there anything he can do as the last remaining member here on the Soniqs? Sees one run by. Isn't quite able to respond in time. He has been spotted out to know exactly where he is. And the chase might be on with these 13 seconds left. Or will they wait for him to drop one of these hatches? It feels like the timer will just run out. It's going to be swung upon, but instantly rotate back out. They don't really want to go for a fight on the side of FaZe here. He will save. Round one will be over. FaZe to win it.
Yeah, it's the sort of limitation of Kaid. It's going to make that site way trickier, especially in the way that they've set it up. As I sort of said, it limits what is turning into a very modern push. You can talk about Garage being a bit of attention, sure, but you still need some of that ability to get open, obviously, the drop onto the vault, and then the split onto the elevator. So many teams bring that just as a way to funnel some utility, funnel some attention, and pull it away from the hatches on the other side. The other sites probably won't have as much of an impact with a Kaid claw. Sure, you're going to get that quad wall electrified from time to time, but it's not really the big make or break of a site that, well, they open up long angle. They sort of don't entirely hand over square, but they make sure it's really dangerous property.
You know, normally open up one of the 4 walls that's out there.
Yeah, FaZe, okay. Let me say that, yeah, teams open up a bit. Usually not all 4.
FaZe
often just those
mind.
2 right in front in the middle, not the ones that Souls are at right now.
Yeah. So, with that, really wanting to make square and save. Really wanting to take the fight to whoever gets up there. I believe they've already droned it out, though, from the side of the Soniqs. So they should be able to respond to that. And of course, it allows for some quick openings if you have any of these hard breach soft breach tools from range. Sophia, Ash, maybe even a Buck, but of course none of them are really there, so soft breach not really going to be the name of the game that the Soniqs would like to play. Do have some hard breach though on Super. CNC will be going around on a bit of a flank towards the AC units. Picking up the office, the side window. Astro with a jump out will get one before he gets punished. And that's the name of the game, though. FaZe, they just want to go aggressive. They don't need to play super composed right now.
I mean, that's it. Like, they've obviously got the game following up against G2, and depending on how this one goes is, I guess, the energy that they might bring into the next. It's strange to say that the next one might be even more. It's almost been censored by
the FAMAS over
by the FAMAS. Thanks, Rexon.
Thanks, Rexon, for bringing the FAMAS. Perfectly balanced out there.
Bomb located by
Soniqs taking a moment. There's obviously been the trade. They lose the Thatcher. The wall, you know, it's still, well, something that they can try and push their way through. It's not the biggest cost. They've also obviously got the Twitch as well to deal with the more specific little bits and pops of utility. This will be the pop in just a second. I think they may be concerned about somebody putting some pressure on, but Grix is going to hold it wide.
Yeah, so they found out there was nobody actually out there right behind it, so there's no need to instantly push it up. It's going to be Grixer though that finds CyberZero. Of course, on that dock, quickly revived himself, but not lasting very long. Now with a man down, 2 men, no, actually just 1 man down. Jumped out earlier. Hoping to hold on. Cameraman still from below though, looking to maybe find one of the Soniqs players that is on a bit of a flank. Souls dropping down the hatch as he gets spotted out, instantly tries to engage onto the ATMs. He's going to be getting out on top of that one though.
That's it, the far fight, but in the meantime, Bullet takes 1 against Rex, and there goes Yeti on the front door, and suddenly it's just Super and Grixer left, knocking on the side of the site. They're inside Janitors. They have a potential pinch on the solo player on the site. The ping and the reveal on his location is there. But with only 1 grenade, he doesn't want to waste the opportunity, especially with all those discs. The walls being popped gives them a bit of width, gives them the access into the site, but a creep up the back of square stairs. There it is. Souls, I think, has just been able to take care of 1. Oh, no. Super rotates his way down the corridor. A bit of concern, but Souls might be able to find this in just a second as well. There's the rotation around the back of square stairs.
Know exactly where he was going to be coming from, just waiting for him to walk back into the line of sight. That's going to be the second round for FaZe. Just playing a bit more freely on their side. I mean, I guess that garage push already said it all that you needed to know. And also shows up with an asteroid behind it. 4 members of FaZe are currently stacking up, ready to swing them. And right now, so I'll jump out right away. Just continuing to jump down hatches. 1, you know you have been spotted. You know there is players around in the ATM's area. And somehow FaZe still come out on top. And that's kind of a scary thing. Small things like that should be punished.
Little moment.
Little moments.
Little moment.
To get away with it. Get the kills.
Open area.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how open it becomes as a play of FaZe. We have to talk about the rotates. So far, this is a pretty familiar setup onto this side across all the regions. Tuck yourself in, give yourself a rotation where Astros. No, actually going to fully lock that. Sometimes you'll see teams have that as a rotate option. They'll kind of keep that, and then they'll keep the one that they've got just around the middle of the white stairs. Gives yourself a little bit of movement. It means you've got to keep a little bit more aggressive control of obviously the other side of it, of the other side, but still, it's somewhere else to go.
Soniqs pushing on again, trying to figure out what the best approach will be. Some pings coming through. That's 1 stolen drone that they have been able to ping with the IQ. Sure was playing at it for just a couple of seconds. Clan's also being spotted out, so they know exactly what they need to clear if they want to go for a bit of a push. Super will start by opening up one of these. Well, never mind. It was going to be starting to open up with one of those walls, but it was being shot at. Instead, the EMP, together with some Selma, should be opening up that wall completely and allow them to actually have an opening onto the direct sides.
Yeah, they have an angle, they have a shot through, and, well, it doesn't give them the full rotation, but they do find the head of Astro. Yeti, he's on the slow creep, droning himself ahead. Something about Soniqs' play and the way Yeti likes to do it is if there's a 1 versus 1, he's always happy to take it. A great angle. Will it get the lockdown? Cameraman is creeping and crawling away to what he hopes is safety. The hatch is locked, and there's suddenly a firefight around the side. They're just going to both pull themselves out all the way around, give some support across the bottom of square. Bullet wants to find an angle. A couple of drones are about to roll their way through. That one tucked just on the bin is the Mozzie we're in.
Yep.
So as soon as they get the call somebody's there, there's going to be a swing.
So a quick punch there to at least let them know, hey, someone might be inside of the teller's area, so they might be trying to look towards the archives instead, allowing Souls or Bullet to go for a bit of a flank later on. Now, the pickup came through, and Yeti will drop. It's a 4-on-4 situation now with Bullet falling back towards the side as well.
That's it, there's a Souls getting 1 as well. I think the fight that CyberZero got was Yeti onto Beepers. A hot drop on a hatch, Rexon! He gets 3! Rexon! Makes a little bit of magic out of nowhere. Bullet is going to see if he can take the same route through. Do they know? They're getting the pings on the player. They've got a rough idea. The plant's being put. Rexon with a quad.
Hot drops down through the hatch and gets a triple kill. Finishes off with a quad afterwards. It's not something you see every single day. I mean, most of the FaZe members were kind of stacked up on that hatch there. It was also like the only safe bastion left until that hot drop came through. And the Soniqs, they find their first round on their attack. Here on Bank. Now headed towards the lockers and CCTV area. Back to the basement we go. It's FaZe. Still on that defense.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
Now, are they going to be finding themselves against an Ossa inside of the garage again? And will we again see 4 FaZe members just stack up, ready to take the fight? Or will they take it a little bit more slowly this time?
I feel like we're probably not going to see the same sort of approach here. Obviously, there's no Ossa, so that's going to be one of the big differences. It might get picked into, but by the looks of it, they have a very different idea in mind. And that potentially includes those hatches that were locked before. Obviously, Kaid is back on the board, but I was about to say Thatcher is too, but he's just swapped out by Kansan at the last second. So maybe this will be something potentially aggressive. Quick to the top, I assume, from Kansan. Try and find a fight and get the clarity before dropping the three away down.
Moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
As we continue. Oh, so they destroyed, according to Red Like, the Italian stallion. The Cave Claw might have been destroyed by the serial laser gate.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. That's not good if that happens.
Sometimes mistakes happen.
It's got to be a piece of utility suddenly gone. I hope
Well,
it's just one though, not both.
I think it's the vault hatch is now not electrified. The elevator is electrified. Elevator is locked in. And we'll see if they can try and, I guess, make some use of it. It's a little bit of a windfall for them. The pressure starts to come around over the top of Square. There's a slow creep down. They're opening up some space, pockets and pockets. But you can see all the FaZe members are generally happy to sit on that basement floor. They've got themselves spread and stretched all the way across. It gives Soniqs time to set rotations, set angles, set ideas of how they want to hold and put pressure onto the site. Itself, as I said, it's a very different take to what we had last time. And might start with some focus here onto the site.
Oh, look at this. He's playing right underneath it on the table, so they see the serial laser gate there, and they just wonder, how do we open this up? Because as soon as he steps away, it's going to be destroying whatever gadget has been placed in front of it. As a just quick swing from Souls comes through, wants to take control of these blue stairs, another smoke canister will be followed up by a grenade from the opposing side of Soniqs.
That laser gate thing is so funny. I mean, yeah, it's perfect. At first I was like, what gadget? Grismot? But no, it's the other side of the serial laser gate unactivated. And he was just sitting high up, so it was. There's the drop on the player. They've got the pickup of the Finker. They don't know if the grenade confirmed it. This one will. There it is. Yeti around the corner. That leaves Cameraman tucked round onto the server stack round. He's looking for anybody to find as a fight. There's one about to hit the bottom of the stairs. Nobody currently in dirt, but we're only the ones privy to know that. Cameraman doesn't quite get that intel. Just get shot by Grixer.
And now they do have that server's control, can start pushing towards the CCTV area. First C4 tossed in from Cyber, not going to be connecting to anything. Now he's debating whether or not he should be rotating upwards to try and go for a bit of a flank, or if he stays on site. Bit of an elevated angle right here from Astro. A little carts on the side, but will be taking more damage than he's able to deal. Grixer will go down, but could be potentially picking himself up with one of the adrenaline surges.
Yeti, a great take over the depth of the site itself. There's Cyber retaking the verticality, though, and pulling over the hatches. Astro's tucked, waiting for the approach to come through. They have this control, and he's actually going to drop down, go for the fight, the swing round. Cannot find all of them. And Super is able to lock out the final kill. Some energy from Soniqs, a 2 for 2. Good response. Can they try and keep driving on their attack side on Bank?
Bit of a weird decision to drop the hatch there, especially if you have that hatch control, the hatch is open. You basically stop any plan from happening up there. You have that advantage. And if you drop, you suddenly find yourself against 3 people horizontally. It's usually not going to be working out unless you have a very fast-firing gun with a lot of bullets in the magazine.
Attackers
not
need to
many of them
locate
around.
and defuse as many bombs as
On
they
the
can.
defense. So back to the bottom floor we go. So laser gates to be set up, hoping that this time around they don't get any electric claws. Of course they won't, because there is no Cade. But let's see if they do the same thing again by putting the electric claw on top of the actual hatch and stand right underneath it.
It was a funny thing.
It didn't work out because they got some pressure and they needed to move, and at that moment, of course, they burned it. So, but it's funny to do. Sometimes you have this in ranked, where, for example, when you're on Clubhouse, CCTV, they open up the wall, you put these serial laser gates on the outside, you go back, you reinforce it, and you just stand there, and then when they breach it, you just walk out and you destroy it like that. Happens in the low ranks as Silver.
I was going to say, if
no, it doesn't happen in Platinum, don't worry.
Yeah, that's probably not...
No.
I've not seen that happen.
I've seen it happen. Sprabuni actually did it with Lotte.
That
yeah,
sounds about right.
So combined. Anyway, 2-2. It is not a silver stack. that we're seeing right here. It's some of the best players in the world that are currently playing round 5. Whoever wins this will take that lead. Soniqs will be more than hungry to do so. Kenzen already in on the top floor. He's droning himself in. Not ideal, but will work out. He's afraid, though, he's being spotted out as some pings are being given by Rexon from above. Black guys are being spotted, so he just needs to make sure he's safe before he actually does get naded out.
Cyber, he's a bit loose, a bit wild. Will he know about the drop that comes through? The drone sure does, and he's playing something slightly further away. Soniqs are very good on their drone approach. They're thorough. They make sure that they do everything with a bit of caution. This is kind of a caution to the wind game. The stakes are what they are, but Soniqs played their game earlier. They're going to play this one. They want to leave here with a win. FaZe Clan want the win as well, but they're keeping themselves with this aggressive positioning. They're changing up, cycling through different ideas. Bullets still round on the back. About to potentially find a fight with Yeti, who's droning himself in once again, this time obviously without the officer, to offer some support.
90 seconds left on the clock. Drone still out there, spawning out one of the players of FaZe. Still debating whether or not he can go there. He's in a position right now where he can go to either side. He could go either through the side office or through that garage. The rest of Soniqs is looking to take that first floor under control. Hatches will be opened up, and that, of course, will raise the pressure down onto that basement. Soul still around the server stack. They need to clear him sooner rather than later. They'll put him down the heartbeat gadget. They'll definitely put him in a different position.
Souls keeps the canister popped, is opting to maybe lean into the fight there for a second. It's going to maybe get burnt out by this drone. The drone's just going to grab the intel that it can, first of all. It's something, well, actually, no, they've pulled it back. They obviously have other pocket utility. The Habana's got a handful of flashes. There's a couple of frag grenades, but you probably don't want to use those. Rather roll them down towards this. 3 bodies ready to try and maybe drop down onto the site. Yeti's still on the far side. There's Rexon, 1-1-1. Traded out either side, a couple blows. Cameraman's able to obviously pick the pieces together. Kanzen takes the drop alongside Grixer. They're isolating that player on the far side. They're not quite entirely sure. The ping comes out, lost down the corridor. There's also the players lost inside the site. Yeti alone here on the far end of garage. The call comes through. It's 10 seconds. Cyber's there with a pistol.
Yeah, they're just running at him here. You see it. The calls in last is in garage. Okay, I'll just pistol whip him there. Kill comes through. FaZe still in the lead again. Pushing on to round 6. Their last defensive round. Up to the executive lounge of CEO we go. We saw these long angles out here before. Most likely we'll be making a re-appearance here. It's not with the Aruni, but could be with the shotgun, of course, still. It's Noma 6-pick onto the defenders, if you might still be wondering. Sometimes you do see the icon out there, but that's just because they swap their operator at the very last second. Something that is then portraying as such. Whereas the repicks of the attackers, of course, have that same little icon next to it. If it does happen, might be able to refer to it if Soniqs would be as kind as to repick one of their operators for me.
Yeah, I mean, they probably won't.
Probably won't.
I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
Happens, you know, there's still 15 seconds of hope. There we go. All right, that's the icon, the one of Twitch. Sometimes it shows up in defenders, but that's just because they swapped it last second. No more 6-pick for those of you that are returning. And I'm wondering where that went.
5 seconds to go.
Okay, Soniqs, can you pull yourself an even 3-3 half here? Kanzen hasn't quite had a true connection with this game as of yet. Rexon's been able to do some bodies, but at the same time, you know, when we see the young guns of Soniqs really delivering, it's kind of a multi-push across the board. Yeti is very often trying to find these 1 versus 1 fights and all of these solo aggressive strats. He's happy to try and locate somebody and take an engagement, but he does need other things to happen for that, and it's not quite the same force. Still time, still at least around to get even. Bank is sort of hit or miss where the teams prefer it, but I think generally the map leads itself towards attackers.
Does a little bit. FaZe finding themselves in a bit of a good spot now, though. And it's not like they're playing super stressed, and they're not playing super... I wouldn't say focused, but like disciplined maybe, because they're just running around here and there, running in with the pistol, just double, triple stacking in certain corners. It's things that give you the idea that, you know, we are qualified. We do not need to play to the best of our abilities anymore. And if we manage to win against Soniqs this way, well, what a better way to lock in that first seed than without having to give away any new strategies.
Ooh, Cyber just missed the sliver and the slink of the play around the corner. It's Super, and he's got your hard breach. Now they've thrown up these walls. This is sort of what we talked about, where there's usually at least a couple with the opener. This time it's a bit of a reverse on the play that we called, but at the same time it still gives you the same effect. Super's going to have to get this open and try and force the player in Janela's into a trickier position, and then you might be able to retake some of that ground. The swing round there is the depth of Janela's, as I called, and now it gives them just a little bit more, and it forces the stock player to have to pull back too.
Yeti in trying to go aggressive here with the DMR, hoping to find at least someone. Super does get taken out. Could be that DBNO stay. The adrenaline surge will be getting him back up before he gets C4'd back out of the game. Cyber goes aggressive, knows he's being chased currently by two, but Yeti will swing wide, gets souls, gets the free fire onto Cyber as well. And suddenly the manpower is back inside of Soniqs' hands.
Bullet retaking the long corridor, tucked in Kanto, and cameraman's tucked out. They've dropped themselves in. Yeti couldn't hit the rotate properly. Bullet's found by Grixer though, and Kansan's going to stick the plant. Doesn't even finish it. Wow, we're starting to see a little bit more of this Sonic swing across the board. 3 rounds to 3. Can they hold off the FaZe Armada on this approach?
I'm intrigued to see how these attacks will play out. For no particular reason at all. Just wondering.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fast. It's going to be FaZe.
Have no clue yet what's going to happen.
I think the conversation about, you know, teams when they're in this sort of situation is everybody's always playing to win, never doubt
Yes,
that.
of course.
But when you are confirmed towards the top, when you're confirmed sort of through, there's stuff that you still want to keep in pocket. Pocket plays, pocket strats, and some of the big builds and things, they're important. It's not that they're not using strats and plays when we say this,
yeah.
but I think on attack, you're going to see that little sort of growth of creativity. It's something that Super on Soniqs has said, that attack Reaper, because it's such a massive effect on just the face of a game and what it's like to be an IGL.
The thing, though, is, right, like, the less 200% kind of rounds you play, the less, like, valuable thoughts there is for your opponents to go up. If you play a little bit more loose, a little bit more like, you know, the game doesn't matter as much to you, because it doesn't, considering you have already qualified, those rounds you play, if people try and analyze it, what are you going to get from it? Like, okay, you might get some basics out of it, but you won't get the intricacies of all these strategies that they now try and have the opportunity to hide on the side of FaZe. And that's a luxury of qualifying first in your group, compared to someone who would still be fighting for a spot.
Rexon, the man who's currently a step ahead of Cyber in terms of putting people in the dirt, is going to see if he can try and keep up that cavalcade of chaos on the defense now. He was playing a bit of stretch over towards open. Cyber, he's got the IQ and bringing that over the top. Astro is going to lead in with the Candelas. Rexon's tucked in the corner. Yeti's rotating round to help here, but it seems like everything's seen. There's the pings on the player. There's the reveal of the camera. Oh, there's an explosion over the top. Astro and Cyber instantly collapse. I don't know if Astro got the swing onto the door there. Must have done just as the breach came through at the perfect second.
That was definitely the definition of some good timing right there, as they both simultaneously were able to breach that room. Is that fuse charge? There is no fuse. It's the hard breach gadget that goes off. We'll be forcing Grixer to fall back just a little bit here, as there's this opening onto the direct side now. C4 still in pocket for him, as Cyber will be taking care of Kansan. He just swings in wide like a Ferrari. He's going to be able to get Grixer as well, turning up the Super now in a 1v5 situation. Is going to be able to make this happen? That is the big question. The pistols are being whipped out now by Cyber. They want to get him like that. They want to humiliate him, and they find it as well. The flawless round on FaZe, who then again take the lead.
So you know when you said you don't want to give full VODs to
you don't want to give the 200% kind of rounds.
Yeah. I think you would still learn something watching this VOD, and that is, damn, Cyber, you scary.
I'm more afraid of the fact now that FaZe might be thinking, wow, this has been quite effective. Maybe we should try this in more of our games during the playoffs.
I mean, I think that's the thing. Obviously, before the start of the round, Cyber was in 7 kills.
Yeah.
And then he throws himself through onto the attack, takes that engagement on the top floor, through the gap, and then just keeps going.
And it was just a race guard.
And it was within the period of about 20 seconds.
You blink your eyes and he killed you.
He'd gotten the first kill and gotten the last. And, you know, that's the sheer power of FaZe. That's that terrifying entity that they are in control of. Hey, you know, you said there wasn't a fuse.
Yeah, there's a fuse now.
So is that a fuse charge?
The fuse charge could definitely be coming through.
10 seconds to insert.
But this is kind of the thing. For those of you back at home that would be wondering and would be saying, oh, these players look like silvers, right?
Swapped out.
Oh, they swapped it out. But, I mean, that's not a fun operator to see.
Yeah.
But
they're going
back to go to the point. To those of you back at home that would be like, oh, these guys are silvers, I would do better. Look at Cyber just running in instead. That's the kind of skill these players have, but they have discipline.
I have a feeling no one's saying that.
There's actually a lot of players always, people at Twitch always saying.
But I feel like if anyone is saying
they're not
that about FaZe, it's like, nah.
no, of course. Like,
if that's your silver lobby, my word.
Silver is
you've
on a different level.
Yeah. Bullet. Paying some attention. Yeah, obviously the Amaru, we sort of joked about that pick up there as being exciting. On this site, they can try and get themselves up to the top quickly, which it seems to have been the drive. Wait for the recharge on that, and then I guess go wherever you want, but it's generally downwards. They seem to have seen the slip out of open. There's the crack on the hatches as well. Grix is in a slightly different position, one that maybe it's a little bit more of a guessing game as to where to find him. Yet he's offering some support, charges through the door, but they're in the site. Cameraman is at least putting some pressure around, or on the side of the floor even. Kansan's alone. Super's trying to offer some support. They've got themselves on the far side of Garage 2. Cameraman wants to lock this door. Used both grenades already. Not sure if it's on the bottom, but Kansan inside the site goes down. So they've got to quickly try and find their way back through. We did see the open hatch was open. Do they know? Well, now they know that the player's lost. Yet he hasn't taken the drop on the hatch just yet, but Rexon's making his way towards it.
Super still holding that angle tight. There is going to be 2 Soniqs players up above. And if you look at the rest of FaZe, well, they're not really anywhere to be found as of yet. Super taking that first engagement, not quite connecting.
I think there's a rotation. Yeti is offering some support here. There's obviously the single player tucked in the corner. It means now Super can hold this and hope he can win it out. But FaZe rotated as well. The boys are in. The cavalry's shown up. And they want to see if they can try and bait this aggression. Torch will make its way through. Look at Rexon holding the hatch though, so as soon as they make an entrance, it's going to be a bit dangerous. The reveal of 2 cameras and Rexon the reveal of his position. Souls goes down, sprays through, dropped. Astro gets 1 in the meantime. There goes that lock off. The Super was able to find someone. It's Scrappy behind the chassis, and then you blink and Oryx has disappeared. Bullets on the far side. 40 seconds, 2 versus 2. Soniqs, they held them at bay and then were able to just muscle them out of the actual execute and retake the site. Now can they take this fight? There it is, Grixer, a huge moment against the Finker on the far end, leaving just Astro alone. 2 more players to dig his teeth into, 20 seconds. They're holding onto the other side of the hard wall. There's one close, almost connects with the next. No, Grixer.
Had to go for the reload there. The Farmers doesn't have that much ammunition inside the magazine, only 26 bullets. 25 if you completely empty the mag and then reload. And with that, you know, at some point you're going to run out of ammo, especially if you have such a scrappy gunfight around the bomb chassis. But we find ourselves 4-4. Now headed towards staff, an open area. For now, the Montaigne is being brought out. Could still change, of course. As they do get into that droning phase. They do get, you know, gather some information.
And defuse as many bombs as they can.
And as they do, slight changes could be on the cards there.
44, back and forth. We've started a dance after a double down at the very beginning of the game. FaZe, you said, they've got the moving mountain. They've also got a Thatcher now as well to try and offer a little bit more of a classic approach.
Attackers have located a bomb.
I guess the drive is, where are they going to drive it? You can see Astro's actually pulled off the Monty. Maybe they thought it was potentially a little bit more of a flat take. Maybe they thought it was at the top. It's obviously open. It gives them a bit of a swing around. You can get themselves breach through the quad wall pretty quickly with the combination of the Thatcher and the Thermite. There was a second of an Ossa before Cyber went to the IQ.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
We're not seeing it yet. Maybe one of the next rounds to come through. Might also not really fit with the game plan of FaZe, which is speed.
Attackers
So
drop.
that's
Gets the
speed.
very first that speed. Kansan
How
taken
fast?
out. So 15 seconds, not even.
Yeah, there it is.
12.
So, player was caught out. Souls
Window.
hits him with
Attackers
the
recover
lull.
the diffuser.
You're probably just trying to open a barricade and found a kill through it. I don't even think that was like an attempt at spawn peek. No, I think it's just opening up some holes,
I like
putting
how
out a
we're
piece of
trying to find it. Are they in
utility.
stock?
I have no clue where. No?
No.
Where did he go?
Who knows? Either way,
CSI?
we lost the player very
Yeah.
early on. And, well, Astro's already finding a second engagement here over the top. Granted, there's a little bit more time that's passed, but you can see he's ready with grenades. However, drop down to the elevator hatch. It's a soft barricade, so he could take that, and that gives him a little bit more of a flat fight. They can knock that wall. Seems like they're actually doubling down, rotating potentially all the way down.
For electronics.
White, the ping of the electrics, the pop through. There's
I didn't
Yeti.
even see him.
Cyber found him, and he's the only one that needs to at this point, waiting for the connection through onto the site itself. We talked about this rotation, what it can offer a team to have your route through onto archives. It's something now that FaZe is steadily taking control of.
So Thermic has been placed on the other side of Rexon. Will blow up. Rexon, get out of there. Goes a bit aggressive, but Soul's already long gone. He needs to go for a bit of a run out if he wants to go for that kill. He is holding though. Might be walking right back into his... Ooh, the other way around. Super takes a bit of damage on the side. Rexon still trying to go aggressive from the little side janitor's office. But it might just be Soul's running in from the copy window.
Grixer rotating his way down White at this point. Rexon's trying to find his way back towards the site and does take care of Cyber. The first one's gone. The second swung against the soft. The pings. That red intel gives them more. Suddenly a little bit more. Grixer finds a bullet as well. A 2 versus 2 out of nowhere from this Dream Team duo that's locked and just holding at bay. 50 seconds, and there's Cameraman finding at least one of them. Puts them into a 2 versus 1. Rexon is on 2 KD, which is the perfect time to mention that stat as there's 2 more players ahead of him that he has to try and knock out of this. Slinks his way through, looking for the loose one, just gets the swing and the spit of it, gets it, 1 versus 1. Souls holding the angle, refiring in the lock-in, doesn't obviously feel anywhere near confident enough to plant. Rexon's going for a big rotate, drops the drone, will give a bit of a reveal, and the second one, they hop over towards the side of the barricade, wanted to get the catch on the kill, wanted to get rid of that Maestro camera as well. It's causing so many of these problems. Tucks his head down, the red pings are there, just popping over the top, can't make the connection. He should get up in a second, the C4.
Oh!
It does though, a triple for Rexon.
Wasn't able to get out in time there for that Nitro cell to come through.
Oh, another lull.
Another lull to come in. And that is going to be the Soniqs to take the lead now here in round 9. A round away from making it to a match point. And we said it before, it's Super's last match. They want to end this one with a victory. And now, Super is talking about playing that Maestro, having the jukes.
I mean, it's, you know, it's a lesser known skill set.
Yeah, it is.
It's like on the list of like, it's a trick.
Managed to make sure the Maestro
We saw the
cam
very
stayed
end
up.
of it.
We
I
did.
guess we can only guess how irritating it was before that point. But even just the end, it's like when a camera is like, eh.
Just dodging the knife, weren't quite able to get it. Unfortunate also not a gun 6 or a sledgehammer, which you could use in that case. But the Soniqs now playing on the top floor, and this is a more kind of normal setup we would see here. Some of the walls reinforced, some sight lines to be created as well. There's going to be no castle though, which doesn't really need to be on the board, but it allows you for a bit more safety in the middle of that site, forcing them to use grenades and utility to get rid of these barricades that could otherwise be hindering you from moving through. Rexon barricading down below is just for some information gain, by the way. For those of you wondering, he's not playing there. It's just that if they punch it, they know someone's coming from the basement.
Yeah, it gives you that awareness. And to be fair, with the sudden strikes that we've seen come through from FaZe, all the awareness is necessary. They give themselves, obviously, the swing shield onto the side of stock. That wall will be locked, but they might be able to play against it if they really want the dedication. A C4 can take off. Oh, there's not really anything, actually. You look towards that wall now, and there's no hard destruction brought from the side of the aggressors. They're just going to see if they can try and push through the soft that's available to them.
Yeti waiting close around the corner, just outside of ATMs. Probably won't be spotted out. There is a Monty as well. If they don't check this with one of their drones, they know someone is out there. They're very, very thorough here.
This is...
Oh, Will they check? Is Rexon that will drop? Souls, check the left. He hasn't checked it.
He doesn't know.
He does. Oh,
he
no!
didn't
So
know!
He's already standing up, though. And with all these barricades, they're definitely looking for someone out there. They know someone's
so
there.
Thorough. The Monty. He's turned.
Oh,
Cyber! Cyber had an idea. Yellow ping came through. Just at the very last second. If he'd have stayed lying down, he might have been fine. But how do you know the C4 downs the Monty? There's a lot of crossfire. They have the pings on the down player because of a Valcam, I believe. But the crossfire gets locked off by Kansan. The slow creep and the catch on the Monty. There's the end of Super, like a sneaky snake crawls and escapes. But they're being hit and blindsided by every window. It seems like none of the FaZe players were actually inside the building apart from the Monty. They're otherwise playing a very hands-off strategy, but that only lasts for so long. Cameraman has the cameras on the
dunk on him.
And heading down. I don't know, but I wouldn't put it past him.
I was going to say, with the way that we're playing, I wouldn't be surprised if they just jump down the skyline and pick up the kill that way. Souls, looking to go for a hunt, playing with that 417. Scans and that drops. It's only up to Super now. Low on HP. It's going to get swung on. It's Cameraman that ends him. And FaZe, they stay in this game. They just keep it close. They're not letting it get away from them. And they were actually quite thorough this round. You know, they did some good drone work, just unfortunately not spotting him out until the very last moment. And it was the Repel player that was able to put a couple of bullets right through the chest.
It was so close. Because it was almost, we saw how thorough the Twitch was being as well.
Yeah.
They literally checked everything above that one corner.
And that's why you check all your corners. It's like
you never know when you find a Yeti there.
Yeah, sure. And we're talking about the player, not like an actual Yeti, right? Like,
you never know. Unless you
never
check
know.
your corners.
Okay, that's true. Yeah. Check your corners.
Astro. Are they going to bring the Candelas, Cyber? Are they going to bring the Buck? It's a bit of a change of pace. The Buck can obviously give you a big stretch here. Down towards it. There's not so much direct into the side itself.
Yeah.
But you remember that sometimes there's big multi-tiered holds.
Leave the wall soft.
We saw them, exactly. We saw last time around Soniqs, they held on to open hatches. They had that stretch of open area a bit open as well. They've done that again. The Buck isn't actually going to stick. You should just trust that it doesn't matter what Cyber picks before, they're an IQ when the round actually comes in.
Bigs IQ, then 6 picks it out, and then 6 picks are back in. 3 picks.
Yeah.
Just wanting to play IQ. Now it's been working out quite well for them. And, you know, now with the Echo on the board, there is some pings coming through. Probably feeling safe. Super will be picked up, though. He was the one that tried to go for a spawn peek. Got punished for it. And, yeah. Not really truly in this game as much as he would like to be. Candela's come through, and that means they want to take this top floor under control, but as the Warden, doesn't really matter though, picks up the kill either way. And that's a 5-on-3 now for FaZe.
Well, they're all behind him as well. Grixer finds Bullet. He's trying to blind everybody, and they will get it, but the players survive and take the kill, and that's the most important part. A very aggressive retake there of open. The 3 players threw themselves back into the engagement. From this point on, forgot I was Warden. Lol.
Completely panicking by all the Candelas flying in there.
I mean, he's allowed to make a mistake. He's had a very good
fine.
game so far, Exon. Sometimes, you know, you forget you're wearing your glasses.
Yeah, no, actually,
it happens.
Don't forget I was wearing it. Oh, that's going to be the insurance of Grixer. He's going to be crawling into safety there, so hoping that he gets there in time before he's being chased out by one of these players from the FaZe Clan. Yes, he's now pushing up to the top floor. Is he going to be able to go for a bit of a strike onto the back? It doesn't seem like they are aware. Cyber is definitely not watching his direction here. If Yeti makes a bit too much noise, he will be giving it away, but the drop already came through. A bit of verticality to work with here. I mean, time to pick up onto Grixer is there as well. A drone. He saw just jump down. The hatch shortly to be followed as well by one of the players, but Yeti goes off at the wrong moment.
Oh, this is so awkward to watch. No, Yeti! He watched the wrong hole and turned away just at the worst possible second to pick up the freebie. They did pick up Grixer, so he's back to his feet inside the site, and with a minute on, FaZe have to start paying some attention, and it's far from the end. We'll see of Yeti this round. He can hold that for as long as he wants to now, but at some point they'll probably need him to come and strike back. Cyber is still around that territory, as Yeti does in fact get to that kill. There's the big reveal. Cameraman going to give themselves the angle and the ability to just try and pop some grenades onto that connector wall, swing their way through. There's an echo drone. That's another big reveal. They have to pull themselves a little bit further back.
Ideal. An exothermic onto a softball. It's not going to be working out too much, I think. Yeti waiting on the top of the blue stairs right now. It seems like cameraman is aware, but does have to go back down again. They need to be there for the cover because the plant soon comes in. 15 seconds time, running low. They need to make sure that they have this cover sorted out, but souls will drop. It's all up to cameraman now, and that 1v3 knew about Yeti, but wasn't quick enough with the pistol. And that means it's going to be a map point here for the Soniqs. Little dances are starting to come in.
I mean, get your boogie on, boys. This is the second time, I believe, throughout this entire tournament, you have been the ones on map point with a chance to lock it out. The last time was against G2. Obviously, unfortunately, went away from you and it went into OT. But here, they might be able to pull their first win. A delicious 3 points after a pretty tricky run in this dangerous group phase. They obviously don't want that to happen. The tack timeout comes in. What can they do to push this into OT? What's the talk and what's the tack?
It's going to be the question. But no matter what happens, though, they need to win now from G2 if they want to keep their first seed. Because that's what's at stake for the FaZe Clan. Want to make sure that they hold on to that first seed. Generally, you would be getting a bit of an easier opponent into your first quarterfinal matchup. And of course, finally, if you want to win, you need to beat them all. That's a thing. But the further you come,
that's true.
The further you come, the better it is. The more side points you get, the more money you will be earning. So it is better to beat the best at the very last, rather than at the very first hurdle.
And other such phrases. Other such motivational things that you can buy in Hap's new book.
What is my new book? Can you name it as well? Not very creative.
Living a Good Life.
Living the Good Life.
By Stein Forward by Easy.
Don't know if he's a part of that.
No, he's... Well, I was going to say he's observing the other stream.
That's going to be the prequel.
But actually, Mandy is observing the other stream.
Yeah, he is now.
I'm really sad that we don't have her on our game. No, I love you, Red Light.
I try to... I try.
We obviously love Red Light here. We love Medics. We love Easy.
But now we need to have a nickname for Mandy as well.
I want to observe. I know
we have observed.
She's actually an observer, but I want to observe.
We have observed in the past.
Yeah.
But we need a nickname now for
How hard can it be? I'm joking. I'm joking. Please don't. Please let us keep watching this game. 6-5. Soniqs. One more round. One more round. Can they end the run of Super in Rainbow Six Siege, at least as a player, regardless of wherever he goes next? I feel like it's far from the last thing we'll hear about Super in Siege. He can't leave us that easily. Don't even think he can slip away from us that easily, Super. Not after all you've done.
To keep the content going.
We've got to keep the content going,
exactly.
Super. But attention is now being paid. This could be the round that gives them, as we said, that precious 3 points. Open is the hold. They've got themselves a bit of a spread here over the top, and Square has not entirely fallen. There's a bit of a spray around. They're not locked in confident, but they're going to get themselves stock as well. A pre-fire round into the angle. There's the movement of Astro into stock. They've popped the Candelas. Found anybody on the other end of it. Rexon is waiting. Will he remember that he has the glasses this time? Need them, finds the first. There's a very quick response as well from Grixer. The Alibi is able to get another. They've been able to shut down a bit of FaZe's activity here on the top floor.
Now in a 3-on-5 situation, FaZe, are you want to be winning this game? Because in that case, you need to be coming back now. Put some of those kills on the board, otherwise it is going to be Soniqs that run away with those 3 points. C4 to be popped. It's going to be giving away the information that Rexon is quite close up on that top floor. Grixer is still around as well. In the meantime, Astro deciding to, you know what, we can also drone out the side. Maybe we can just hit that straight on, not having to worry about these remaining players on the top floor.
Well, Super is the one locked and watched, ready on that hatch. Cyber suffers a little, ducks and dives his way across, pre-fires, and there's a bit of damage to Rexon, but it's Astro that takes it from the top. Cameraman falls alongside. They're looking for the catch, and there it is. You take ours, we'll take you right back. Rexon slips away. Importantly, they at least keep one of the bodies that were on the top floor and wasted a lot of time. They're above the hatch. It's not an awkward entire hold, but it's definitely an awkward drop if you want to try and make that your ingress onto the site itself. Cyberzera is getting a bit of the stretch here onto that loose player. Bit of a break. There's also one around the bottom of square as well. Maybe thinking about rotating, maybe thinking about striking early. It's Kansan. And there's the hold. There's the catch. Kansan's out of there, cameraman. Very cheekily played. 20 seconds. A very important moment here. Astro, he's going to hot roll the Candelas down on the opposite side. Just sees the end of it. Kansan suffers an engagement of the player on the second story. They need to get to the site itself. There's only 10 seconds. There is Super getting one more on the stock player. Soniqs are moments away from their first round. And that's all she wrote. Super Soniqs ends his time playing with a cheeky little double kill and a 3-point game against FaZe.
And with that, of course, there is still the fight for the first place in this group ongoing. It will not be won by the Soniqs as they are confirmed in 4th. But without, besides that, they have managed to get their first win in. They end their major with a win as well. There's not many teams that do that. Generally, it's just, the person that, the team that wins the whole major and some of the group stage teams that do. But besides that, before we break down this game any further, let's go to a very quick ad break.
To leave Rainbow. We are stronger than we've ever been, and our new recruits legitimize us in the eyes of many skeptics. What is a high price tag when success is guaranteed? Our results speak for themselves and give us leeway to operate as we wish. The world is not designed to foster talent. Fall in line. Do what is expected of you. In my life, I've often found that the great rarely fit traditional standards. When you confine excellence, it suffocates.
Ace, wall down in 5.
Tell them out.
Thinker, prepare for a rush. Atlanta!
In removing these restraints, I have redefined what an operational unit can be.
Forward, now! Go, 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 go!
Some might see us as selfish and opportunistic. Let them. Nighthaven will leave them in the dust as we soar.
Hello everyone and welcome back here to the post-game, the breakdown of Soniqs' final swan song, at least with Super at the helm. Congratulations, they've taken a win.
They've taken a win indeed, 3 important points for them. Even though they don't really matter anymore for the group stage standings, not for the 6th Invitational, but it will be, of course, for the mentality. They end on a high, a small high at that.
It's a high.
It's a high, nonetheless. So, as we just quickly head into the map summary to just discuss this even a little bit further, it was, of course, FaZe that were already qualified. Not the first seed confirmed yet, though, which means that they will have to do that job up against G2 next.
That's it. We keep that sort of rolling. Obviously, Rexon having a huge game. Everybody had those little pop moments. Kansan showed up more towards the end there, and it was just enough to push them over. This FaZe team that had big strikes. Cyber is Cyber. He does Cyber things. But Soniqs, They did the Sonic thing, and they took the win against one of those top teams. That's it. That's all for the Soniqs for this event. How does that shape our group? Well, as you just sort of rightly alluded to, FaZe are in first place inside the group. However, they still have obviously one game in hand, and G2 could beat them and take the first seed.
Yeah, so, you know, you just saw them play. FaZe Clan, they played a little bit less disciplined as they normally would and a bit more freely. So are we going to see the same against G2? And what is G2 going to be bringing? Because besides, you know, Sandbox being locked in third, Soniqs being locked in fourth, those are the only two that can still change. And FaZe had the opportunity to lock it off now, but they didn't, which means that they want to leave that up against G2 to see whether or not they will be first seed or second.
And that's sort of it right now. That's that heat. That puts a little bit of energy into the last game, because although both these teams are two teams confirmed from this group to be moving forward, the first seed going up against the follow-up, I mean, you look at the top seeds of the other groups, which you can do over this quick break, and you work out who would you rather play against. We'll see you back for FaZe versus G2 after this quick break.